Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the July 27th ESPN Joyce versus Chisora preview and prediction video, as I'm going to preview the whole card, or the fights that matter on this ESPN Plus undercard that's coming from the United Kingdom. Again, this Saturday, July 27th. First, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So, again, we'll get to the main event in a few minutes, but the undercard, actually, you know, going through the whole card is not a bad undercard. I mean, if you really think about it. Brandon Lee, undefeated Americans, fighting way down on the card, 28-0. Still trying to build himself up, I guess, still at 140 pounds. He's staying busy on the undercard. I'm predicting him to get a win. Then there's a heavyweight attraction. Moses Iltoma, I don't want to get that wrong, undefeated heavyweight on the rise, is battling former world title challenger Mariusz Wach. That's like the fourth fight down on the card. Then you got an interesting super featherweight battle. First, I'm taking Iltoma to stay undefeated against Wach, but you got Ryan Garner, undefeeted, 15-0, battling Archie Sharp, who I think is 28-0 if I'm right. It might be 25-0. I might be getting his record mixed up with Brandon Lee's. But Archie Sharp is a guy that's highly ranked in the super featherweight ranking. So this is kind of an eliminator right here. And I'm interested in seeing how this one shakes out. I'm picking Archie Sharp, but I really don't know much about either fighter. But yeah, that should be a pretty decent scrap between undefeated 130-pounders. Then the co-feature brings us down to 122 in a battle for a top 10 spot, really a rematch. You got undefeated Dennis McCann is taking on the veteran, the upset artist, Ioannou Baluta. And I know a lot of people are going to want to take McCann, and McCann could win this fight, but Ioannou Baluta has made a straight-up career out of upsetting and fighting British fighters. And even his losses have come against, the last couple losses have come against British fighters on the rise, particularly Michael Conlan, who he lost a very close decision against. And Baluta is just that consummate grinder that is just, like I said, he's made a career out of pulling off upsets against fighters on the rise. He started off in 2020 upsetting TJ Doheny, who was coming off of his first loss when he lost the IBF title to what's his name, Daniel Roman, when they attempted to unify belts. He returned right when the pandemic kicked off. That was the last big fight before the pandemic. Well, big fight in terms of my eyes. And Baluta upset him, came out of nowhere and upset Doheny, and then has went on and upset a couple British fighters on the rise, taking an L against Michael Conlan. But this guy is just, he doesn't care. They fought last year, it ended in a draw, and now they want to leave no doubt against each other until Ioannou Baluta gets beat by one of these guys that we really don't know much about, but are undefeated and projected to be prospects. I'm picking Baluta to win. So I got Baluta over McCann, but I absolutely believe that McCann could pull it off, but he's got to do it first. So again, I'm going Baluta in the co-feature. But the main event brings us to the heaviest weight class, the heavyweights. And you're going to see the juggernaut, former interim heavyweight champion Joe Joyce, fight for his second time since his back-to-back losses to Zhilei Zhang, where he got knocked out 2 times and really got the moniker of the boogeyman of heavyweight taken away from him by brutal force against Zhilei Zhang. He returns for his second time, taking on the ageless veteran, former world title challenger Derek Chisora. And it's a big heavyweight fight right here for both men, you know. Joyce has the most to lose from this one, though. Derek Ward Chisora is your consummate gatekeeper, and he accepts that role. He's 40 years old, and he just keeps chugging along. He doesn't care. He keeps fighting. He wins some. You know, he loses. He's got 13 losses on his resume, but he's lost and fought against the best. And for him, it's just about going to war, getting in there, mixing it up, you know, keeping his living strong by staying in there and being the consummate gatekeeper of the heavyweight division. It's basically like, hey, you got to go through me to get to that next level. And he accepts that role, and he doesn't care if he wins or loses. He just goes out there and fights, you know, and he's always a tough out, you know, no matter what. So he's coming in here against Joyce, and we're going to see what Joyce has left. Now, in terms of age, there's not a big age gap. Joyce is 38, even though you would argue, because he's only 16-2 as a heavyweight. He started late. You'd argue him to be more towards like 30 in terms of realistically fighting age, you know. Chisora been banging around forever. I mean, the dude has been around a long time, and he's every bit of 40 in terms of a fighter, but he doesn't fight like he's 40, you know, and Joyce doesn't fight like he's 38. So the age to me is not the key here. And I think Joyce, if we're gonna argue old, Joyce is probably old, but again, he doesn't really fight like he's too old. It's more his style that makes him beatable to me, not his age. But the significance here, in my opinion, is the height and reach advantage for Joyce. He has a 4.5-inch height advantage, as he's 6'6", and Chisora stands at 6'1.5", and then he has a 6-inch reach advantage. So Joyce needs to come in here, box and punch, you know, do what he normally does. I hope he's learned some lateral movement since the losses to Zhilei Zhang, that he cannot stand in there and just try to box in one spot and hope that works out for him. He's got to move a little bit. But I think Joyce is back. I think he's ready. I think he's good enough to get through Derek Chisora, and I think he's going to break down Derek Chisora. I see him stopping Chisora in the late rounds of a good action-packed fight. Chisora is going to be in it for a while, but I think Joyce takes over and breaks him down and stops him in the late rounds. But I do absolutely think Chisora is a live underdog and could pull this one off, and I'm very interested in seeing how this one shakes out. So this Saturday, July 27th, ESPN Plus. Again, I'm predicting Brandon Lee to stay undefeated. I'm predicting Iltama to stay undefeated as a heavyweight. I'm predicting Archie Sharp to pull off the victory and stay undefeated at 130. I'm predicting Ionut Baluta to pull off the victory in the rematch over Dennis McCann with a decision. And then I'm predicting Joyce to stop Derek Chisora in the late rounds of their heavyweight main event. So that, again, that's this Saturday, July 27th, ESPN Plus. This has been the preview and prediction for that card. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.